Okay. So, to be honest, instead of like trying to think of some weird, wacky way to start this thing up, I'm just going to get right into it. Um, if you're going to learn one thing from this channel, other than the fact that this is an absolute huge waste of time, it's that I'm going to talk about the same things over and over and over again multiple times. Some people would argue that it's passion. Other people, like Cool Shirt here, think that I really need to move on and let things go. And part of me agrees with him. And that's why we're talking about, out of all things, this was not on my bingo card for this year, is Rooster Teeth coming back, or whatever the hell it is. And I have my friends here once again, Cool Shirt and Fifth.
Hello.
Howdy.
So you guys want to like tell me exactly how you all feel about like what Rooster Teeth means to you and all that before we just really get into this?
I mean, I'll start us off. I mean, I don't really care about Rooster Teeth anymore. We really kind of fell off like a while ago, but I used to enjoy their content a long time ago, but I haven't really thought about them in years. I know you've been lingering about, Pure as Death and whatnot, Fire, but
oh my god,
that's just kind of that's a you problem, not a me problem.
We'll get to
but
that.
Go ahead, Fifth. Sorry to cut you off.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, I grew up on their content, but I don't know. After they went south, I stopped caring.
I mean, I'm probably like the most hardcore fake fan known to mankind.
You're their biggest hater and their biggest fan.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, because number
You've
one,
never let that hate boner go, bro.
No, I don't. I never will.
Dear Lord.
There are two things that I will never forgive people for destroying. All right, like really, really funny internet content and Halo. Which God knows how many times on this channel and this podcast we're gonna end up talking about Halo. We haven't talked about it yet. But
that's
it's coming.
That's another dead company.
I mean, that's a dead franchise. The company cares more about making laptops and selling you subscription services and putting out real games. Oh, I'm sorry.
Damn, that was a bit too real.
I'm sorry, not laptops. Do they even still make laptops? I think it's just pure Microsoft Surfaces now. No, but either way.
They make laptops.
They're not OS systems.
I mean, they're not good laptops, but I mean, they're laptops.
Are they like HP, like hinge protection or something like that?
I mean, HP is, what is it? Hardly plastic. I mean, barely Jesus. Even rubber. I mean, that shit breaks like immediately after you open it out of the box, man.
That's awful. No, but getting back to Rooster Teeth, I mean, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. When they stopped, or like when they really changed, in my opinion, was in 2015, when a lot of their old talent really started leaving. And the new people that they were bringing in just either were trying too hard to replace the people that had left, or just were not funny or interesting or anything at all. And now seeing them come back, or at least it's not even them anymore. It's one guy. It's Bernie and his wife. So one guy and his wife, at least for now.
I mean, they kind of carried the company for a while, to be fair. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, that is true. I mean, Bernie is arguably one of the
I think he was one of the backbones of the company when I was still paying attention to their content.
Yeah, I mean, he really was. I was never the biggest Bernie fan, but it's more because I really watched the Achievement Hunter side of Rooster Teeth as opposed to the Rooster Teeth stuff. And I know, like, after they sold off the company to Full Screen, I believe, a company that now no longer exists.
Yeah.
They started acquiring a bunch of other, like, online companies, trying to make like some big platform, and in the end it all came crashing down.
Yep.
And to be honest, if anyone is looking for a more in-depth, like I wouldn't even say discussion, but more information filled, just go to the Rooster Teeth website and they've actually updated it. It's not that old like little sentimental thing that they had. It actually has a thing. And then I learned so much in the one night that I researched this, because I did not know that Bernie and his wife had a podcast, but they do.
They've had one for a while. They started it a lot. I knew about that.
I didn't.
Oh, I thought you knew about that.
No, I didn't know.
I sort of kept up with them on like Twitter after they left Rooster Teeth and whatnot. I still follow Bernie on Twitter. I don't follow his wife, but I still follow him.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. They did an episode, and in that episode, they were talking about how they're going to explain more this coming weekend, which is, I believe, the weekend of the 8th and the 9th. Let's really date this. This should be, God knows when this is coming out. But we'll have more information on what they're going to do. But I don't know. I really don't think this is going to succeed. Because in my opinion, the reason that Rooster Teeth really went down like the path that it went was it was very talent and personality driven. And when those personalities left, they never really replaced them, and they weren't really built to replace them. Because, I mean, Ray left. I believe Monty passed away soon after, or like before. I don't remember. And then
Womp womp.
What the
Sorry.
What the fuck, man? Someone died. Holy shit. I don't want this to turn into the Firewire spiel episode, but like, Jesus Christ, I didn't want it like that.
I felt like I had to interject a little.
Well, thank you.
Express my empathy.
Oh, well, thank you. Next, you're gonna say like press F's to pay respects at this moment. No, but in reality, then you have, of course, like, well, for them it's the who will not be named, but you know there was the whole Ryan Haywood scandal. Then they fired Joel as well, just like, you know, behind the scenes, because the company went what, you know, in modern terms they would say is woke. And that was, you know, a real big issue. Started bringing politics into everything instead of just trying to make funny videos. Then Bernie leaves the company. I don't know if this all happened in that exact order.
It did.
Yeah. Wow, I'm getting lucky because this is just off the top of my head. And then they started just producing a bunch of shows.
Garbage.
Yeah. Like they were just putting out quantity over quality. It really suffered, throwing everything at the wall that stuck. I mean, I never watched the RT podcast. I know that some people absolutely love it. I
used to love it.
Yeah, I was never that big a fan of it. I never really watched it.
That was the first podcast I ever really started watching.
Nice.
It was a good podcast, to be fair.
That's what I've heard. I've heard that the older episodes are amazing. But like,
oh yeah, no, it was amazing.
The end of it, like I know that Gus, one of the hosts on there, a lot of people were saying like he just stopped caring. Like, you know, he
definitely, it felt like he was putting a lot less effort into it as time went on. But I do think he was a good host in the early parts of the show, though. I would definitely say that.
I mean, I would assume that he was, because I mean, I feel like when you first start off, or when you're building something from nothing, or well, they had something at that point, that you have a lot more enthusiasm for it. But a lot of people, like, once you make your money, it is really hard to just keep coming to work. Especially, I mean, they're older. I wouldn't say they're old by any standards. I think they're like in their late 30s to mid 40s. I'd assume, maybe at the most.
I'd say they're like getting into their 50s at this point.
Maybe even that.
Pretty sure Bernie was in his 40s whenever he left.
Yeah, I mean, but it's really hard to keep going, especially when you have enough money to where you have your money, you have your house, you know, and everything, especially in this economy. They're based in Austin, and property value there literally shot higher than freaking, well, any rocket that we've sent up in a while, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean it's really hard to keep that up, especially if you see the writing on the wall that everything's just going downwards.
Yeah.
But I know that for me, at least, and I'd love your guys' opinion, maybe not directly on this, but I really, really fear that this is a move that was made out of nostalgia. Like, just, you
Could be a
really,
business move, though.
I mean,
Not to interject or anything, but like I it could be something. I mean, like I like there could be some sort of end goal business strategy here, but I have no idea.
I
Could be
feel
a
like if it was a
grab.
business driven thing, he wouldn't have bought out Rooster Teeth. I mean, he would have bought like the IP addresses or whatever for a
Yeah.
lot of the content, but I don't think he would have stuck with the name Rooster Teeth.
To be fair, he could have just
If it was
started a
pure
whole new
business.
company. To be fair,
Yeah, if it was business, he probably would have started a whole new company.
yeah, he can start a whole new company. I mean, he already has his own little production company, like a new one. He can go and collaborate with, because apparently he has on his podcast brought on a lot of ex Rooster Teeth employees, and
Yeah, because now he has to deal with the like negative content or side effect that the old Rooster Teeth has put out.
yeah, I mean,
you're right. He has to deal with a negative PR, which is kind of already starting with your kind of your like on the back foot a little bit.
well, it's not only that. Now you're going to have people that, and I know that I'm guilty of this too, because like watching Rooster Teeth fall, I was like, man, I really miss old Achievement Hunter. I miss old style content, because they really made their popularity on edgy humor that, to be honest, no one wants to make anymore. You still can, but no one wants to. They think it's society doesn't accept it anymore. Like, you know, there are quote unquote protected classes online, like Fifth. He's one of them. I'll let you
Well, but
decide.
the problem was is that
Okay.
the problem was is that like it was edgy at a certain point, but then it became the culture, and then it was no longer edgy anymore. Is kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, I mean, they chose to do that. That's really the thing, and I know that with that will also come the, I don't want to say harassing, because it's real easy for some people, like whenever they get asked questions, they're like, oh my god, you're harassing me. But people are going to start asking questions to the former employees, like, hey, Bernie just bought Rooster Teeth. Are you going back? You know, like, I know you're doing your own thing, but like, are you going back? I know that one of my favorite creators from that time was Ray, and the dude never really stopped getting like, hey, when are you going back to Achievement Hunter? Like, are you going back to Achievement Hunter? Like, all this. I know that never stopped happening till they shut down, and now it's starting back up again. So, you know. And
Yep.
And Bernie did say this on that episode, that it's like not to go and bother people and ask them these questions. Were you going to say something, Fifth?
Oh no, I was stretching. Sorry.
No, you're good. But it's going to be really hard, in my opinion, because the end was so bad, and I mean so bad. You know, like,
Yeah, it went out with a whimper.
Yeah, and it's so crazy that we're sitting here talking about this, and for me specifically, because there was so long of a time I was like, I want this company to die, let it end, put it out of its misery. It's not the same anymore. You're dragging this out. You're like, these people aren't funny. You're just pushing your political agenda. And granted, my personal opinion on politics is, I don't care what yours is, but just know when to fucking, you know, talk about
Shut
it.
the hell up.
Well, yes and no. There's, in the words of Professor Oak, there's a time and a place for everything.
I don't think he said that first.
Have you ever tried to pull out your bike or a fishing rod in the middle of the Pokemon Center?
That's fair. That's fair.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not a gamer. That's right. We literally were just playing Helldiver.
I hope you get hit by a tree.
Yeah, so do I.
I hope the tree's really, really rough on you.
Let me tell you, that would be something completely out of left field.
Not in a good way, kind of rough either.
No, Jesus. No, but their biggest battle is going to be overcoming that kind of negative nostalgia, you know? Because I don't even know what I would want out of a Rooster Teeth revival, quote unquote. You know? And because the only real former Rooster Teeth employee that I actually still follow is Jeff. I know he has a podcast and it's funny. I've watched a couple episodes.
My name's Jeff.
My name's Jeff. But like, looking back onto, because he's talked about it on like multiple podcasts and everything. Like, dude, it was rough working at Rooster Teeth back then, and he was like struggling with alcoholism and a bunch of things that he's overcome, you know? And now just going back to that, yeah, there's good memories there. I'd assume so. But like, there's also a lot of people that are, you know, going to be pushing for weird, crazy shit, you know?
Sounds like a skill issue.
Is it a skill issue?
I don't know, is it?
Probably is.
I'm gonna go drown myself. I'll be back.
Jesus Christ. No, but I don't know. Do you all think that this is literally just a, man, I'm going to get the band back together. We're going to get the boys. We're going to give it one last run? Or do you think that this is going to be something completely new? Minded, let me tell you this. He did not get every single piece of Rooster Teeth back. A lot of things were sold off. Like, for example, Rooster Teeth and Ruby are no longer connected.
I already knew that.
Yeah. And once again, I'm not going to go into everything. Go listen to that podcast if you really want to learn more about that. But what do you all think? I really want to hear what you all have to say, because this is turning into the Firewire yaps for going on 20 minutes.
I think it's definitely more of a nostalgic thing.
Sam.
Why?
He definitely could turn it into something more than that, but it would be really hard to, though, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Red versus Blue is over. Everyone loved the way it ended. And what are you going to do? You're going to reboot that? You're going to say that the ending wasn't, you know?
The end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
wouldn't be the first time they did that.
Yeah.
he could just, make new IPs, but, that might be a little too hard for them at this point.
I mean, the landscape of the internet has also changed a lot. It really has, and there's just so many people doing what Rooster Teeth used to do, but they're doing it on a smaller scale. They're doing it in more personal ways. I mean, streaming's blown up. That's like one of the biggest, most popular things. It may not be my cup of tea to watch, but there are some people that love it, you know? And I really do not see a world where, I wouldn't say that Rooster Teeth has a place, but I just don't see a world where you bring this company back and recreate that same lightning in a bottle magic that you had. Because you can't say, you know what, I'm bringing everyone back. Because there are going to be people that don't want to come back. And there's going to be people that you yourself don't want to bring back, you know?
Yeah.
And it just makes you wonder, what is the real point of this? Like,
the end goal of this.
Like, are you telling me that Rooster Teeth was your baby? Then why did you sell it in the first place? That's another question, because he got rich off of this. I don't remember the exact number of how much he sold Rooster Teeth for, but it was a very good amount. And it wasn't just him, it was all the founders. They're rich beyond God knows what at this point. And why bring this back? And we're just talking in circles at this point, but that's it. It's why? And there's only really one person that knows at this moment, and it's Bernie Burns. You know?
Yeah.
And if it will fail, if it will succeed, I don't think this is going to be the same Rooster Teeth. And I think that a lot of people want this to be the same Rooster Teeth. And I think it's going to disappoint those people. I think you are going to have fans that are going to be like, "Oh my God, I can't wait. I'm so excited."
Do you count yourself amongst the fans?
No, I really don't. My memories of Rooster Teeth, the good ones, have all been replaced by all of the political posts that these people did on Twitter, the absolutely abhorrent things that one of my favorite members of their company did while at a convention, the firing of a founding employee purely because you didn't agree with what he said on Twitter, you know, like, and of course you have all of the outright, like, just absolute garbage that some of these personalities were spewing without even really knowing anything. It's one thing to voice your political beliefs, and then it's another to weaponize it, you know? And that's a big problem. And if you want examples of that, I can list them off, but there's no point. I don't see any.
I don't think you need to, because I know exactly which points in the history of the company that you're referring to.
Yeah, I don't see any reason.
But I mean, you could help the viewers out by giving some indications in the description.
Yeah, I might. I
think that might be a good idea, because what if there's some people that find this video that have never watched Rooster Teeth for a single second?
Goddamn, are you lucky?
Yeah.
It's better that way. The highs were great, but they really
The
were.
lows were better.
Oh, Jesus Christ, were the lows low? I don't know. It's also one of those things, like, when I think about Rooster Teeth and I'm like, man, the peak of it, I think of getting back from school, running to my, at that point, little shitty ass Dell laptop and watching the latest Let's Play Minecraft video back in like 2013, 2011, around that time, or 12, one of the two. Then hopping on, playing Halo Reach, and then the weekends would come around and I'd get to go out and just go shopping with like my dad, or hanging out with a lot of my friends from high school, going to some of my favorite stores and restaurants that, funny enough, no longer exist. And I'm not even talking about 2020. Those have been like, a lot of those places and those things had been long gone. But that's what Bernie is competing against. He's competing against that level of nostalgia. And to be honest with you, you can't beat that. Like, you're never going to be able to top that. But maybe he's not going to try to. Maybe it's going to be something completely different. Maybe it'll even be good. You know?
High hopes.
Yeah, it's high hopes, but I mean, he's got an interesting battle ahead of him. But I mean, I don't really. I'll keep an eye. I'll keep like one tiny bit of an eye on it, but I don't really think I'm going to give that much of a crap about it. I'm being real.
I care less of it as a point of like, of it being
not really invested in it anymore.
Yeah, I care less about it being like, oh, Rooster Teeth is back, and more of a, all right, is this going to be something new that's actually good? Does that make any sense? Because we have and actively are losing so many things. I mean, we've lost so many stores, so many restaurants, so many content creators are calling it quits. So many have called it quits. A lot of like longtime creators and things like that. And unlike in the past, where you have something that falls or something that ends, something just as good or better came and replaced it. But it doesn't seem like we have that nowadays. It seems like, we've really been stuck with the same 3 or 4, companies or places. Like, if you want to go eat, you go and eat at these places. You want to go shop, you're running out of places to go shop. You want to go watch, insert this kind of creator or this kind of content. Hell, a lot of it doesn't exist anymore, It's a lot of the same slop. And that's even before you bring AI into it,
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different can of worms, different episode, maybe, God knows. But part of me wants it to succeed for that specific reason, because you grow up and you don't want things to change. And I was like that for the longest time. I didn't want things to change. Well, now we live in a time where nothing's fucking changing, and I'm fucking tired of it.
Yeah. Well, some things are changing.
Now, that is true. And that is true. Insert your certain political joke here, because it's like the lowest hanging fruit. But there are things that are changing. But I want good change. I hope this is good change. I hope that whatever comes of this, I hope it learns from the past, both the good and the bad, builds on it, and makes not the same thing, but something new, something different. If it brings back old people, I'm all for it. If you bring in new people, I hope they're the right people, And I don't know. They're not even, I don't know if you can classify them as an underdog. I don't think you can. I know that there's a lot of people that are already excited. There's also a lot of people that are also saying that this was the stupidest move known to mankind.
Yeah.
And over the years, like you alluded to, Culture, there's been more bad than good revolving around Rooster Teeth. So, do I wish him luck? I don't know. Maybe some things deserve to stay buried. I think that's the end of my piece. I'll give the floor to you two.
I mean, I'm not that invested in it, so if it lives or die, I'll survive. I won't shed a tear.
Honestly, I won't shed a tear at all.
I already shed my tears back in like 2015, 2016 for this company. And after that, I was firmly rooting on the get him out of here train. So I think on that note, if you want any more actual information instead of 3 idiots who don't really know what they're talking about, go watch the actual stuff and go watch what they're doing. Maybe by the time you found this, the answer's already known, But other than that,
we're in the future.
Possibly. Other than that, I guess that's it for this week. Take care of yourselves and, social media shit. Adios.
Godspeed.